Hi, event folks. I am here today with Daniel Mesich, bar manager and talent buyer at Kick Butt Coffee here in Austin. Kick Butt Coffee is a staple venue here in Austin. They are a cafe, they got food, they got coffee, and they have lots of live events. I had the pleasure of hosting metal karaoke there. They did comedy shows, festivals, live music, all the live music in the world. So I am super pumped today to talk to Danimal about Kick Butt and his experience um, his experience with COVID and the event venue side.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for joining, Dan.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Again, as Stephanie said, I am Danimal. I go by many names. I wear many hats, and yeah, I run the bar. We have a probably I'd say close to like 60, 70 drinks. Me and my assistant bartender Alyssa, we came up with all of those, and yeah, I run the bar, and then I also do the booking side, as Stephanie was saying. I do Me and Mike Flannery. We sort of tag team the booking, and yeah, we do a little bit of everything. I What's near and dear to me is punk, metal, and hip hop and rock and roll. We do, Austin has a really good psych rock scene, so we get some really good psych rock and rock and roll bands. And then we also love our burlesque and our comedy shows. And we also do a lot of mics. And Stephanie was, the first person to come to us with a karaoke night that was really rad. And so, yeah, I sort of look at it as I like doing offbeat counterculture stuff that other people might shy away from, and we pride ourselves in giving those artists and people a place. But yeah, that's a pretty good rundown of us.
Yeah. And so event venues have been hit hard
Very,
because of COVID. So can you
very.
tell us how you and Kick Butt have been affected by COVID?
Yeah, it's been rough. The last show we did with an audience was March 16th, and then pretty much everything after that sort of got shut down. When some venues in Austin felt it was good to open up in May, me and my staff did not. We were one of the bars that did not open when a lot of bars around town did. And shortly after that, as you know, June and July, the whole city was pretty much shut down. So yeah, we did not open then. And then after now, some venues are starting to do shows and open again. And I myself, the owner, some of the people I work with, we still don't feel like it's a good idea to open right now. So we are continuing as far as doing live shows. Now, our venue, we are sort of a night and day type venue where during the day, we have tables in there and it's more of like a cafe. All of our food is made from scratch. Pastries are made from scratch, and we have a really good breakfast and lunch is normally what we've been doing. We open probably like 5 or 6 in the morning and then close around 3 or 4. And that's been helping us a little bit. But then the other thing is that we have ACC, Austin Community College, right behind us. And that college is almost all virtual. So, you know, we have no night business and our day business is taking a huge hit because we have that college behind us. And so it's definitely been a struggle. I mean, thankfully, the owner is, I guess, in good graces with the landlord that we currently have. And, they've sort of been just like, hey, show us what you guys make monthly and we'll figure out what you pay for rent. But we still have to pay that back at some point. And then on top of that, you know, there's really no end in sight to all of this. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to book a show that's a live live show that brings a lot of people out till probably next year, honestly. And I really don't know as far as what when that's even going to be. I mean, in my brain, from everything I've seen, I feel like until there's like a few different kinds of vaccines out in the wild, it's going to be really hard to do live shows safely, even with all the precautions, because I've went to bars and it's sort of like a thing where they have all these rules posted and what's going on, but then as soon as it gets busy or packed, it's like all those rules are out the window because the bar's making money and they're not gonna sit there and make customers feel uncomfortable. It's a very double-edged sword, and it's something that I just don't feel comfortable like doing as full live shows right now. But we have been doing virtual shows, and as far as those go, they're pretty much closed to the public. Ernie, our sound master extraordinaire, he's been doing all the streaming and mixing and all that stuff. And also, it's sort of a way to help pay Ernie because, a lot of people are like, well, all these businesses or all these venues are out of business. And what a lot of people don't realize is all the behind the scenes players that are just sort of left out to fend for themselves. And that's sound people, that's box office people, that's production, and, like crew that set up stages for bigger venues, and photographers. I mean, I cannot think of an industry that is more affected than the like small theater and performance, like live performance industry, because there's, we do have a little bit of help in our day business, but our night business and stronger day business is really sort of what got us through, and it's sort of like a lifeline right now, but it's better than nothing. I can't think of an industry, like I was saying, that's been affected as bad as ours has been affected. And crickets. Crickets. I know there's the Save the Stages Act that's floating around in Congress, but no one's really paid attention to that. And I think there's another act or bill, something that's floating around in Congress to a similar effect, that is just targeted at helping smaller venues and theaters. Because I also have some friends that work at some theaters in Austin that do like play stuff, and again, everybody from people that make wigs to people that just work behind the curtains. Like, there's so many people affected, and it's just wild to me that how many people enjoy these types of shows, but a lot of those people are just turning a blind eye, or just acting like it's just going to come back magically, and we don't need any help or anything to fix it, which is, I guess, we'll see. But yeah, it's pretty brutal. And thankfully the live streams we've been doing too have been helping a little bit. We have two bands play. I don't want to do more than two bands. I let the first band that I set the live stream up book who they're going to play with, so they're comfortable. And if they don't want to play with somebody, I'm cool with that too, But we normally have been doing that, and then it's just do the live stream, and we'll have a little like thing across the bottom of the screen that's like, if you would like to donate to us. If not, enjoy some live music, because we could all use more of that right now. But yeah, that's pretty much how we've been staying afloat, and everything that sort of encompasses that.
Yeah, I've seen your live streams on Facebook and they're great. Arnie does such a good job.
Yeah, and that's a lot of live streams that are happening right now, and not knocking any, because we're all sort of trying to like navigate waters that we haven't been in before, and sort of trying to adapt to this weird virtual reality that we're living right now. But yeah, Ernie, I feel like having him do it is sort of like an extra cherry on top, because a lot of live streams, unless you're recording in like a recording studio or somewhere that's set up for it, it's literally someone with a camera in the corner and they're streaming. And again, no hate, I'm glad people are getting music out there, but Ernie, he's live mixing the show as it's happening. He has like 6 or 7 different cameras put around in our venue so he can cut to different camera angles. Like he has one that's like over the drummer, and he's put a lot of work into it. And it's sort of, each week it gets better. Ernie's the type of person where the more he does something, the tighter and the better it gets. And that's one of the reasons why our venue is what it is because Ernie's been literally there since me and Mike took over booking, and he's been there before that. But once we started booking, we realized he was the guy that we needed to get going to get what we wanted done. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about Ernie. If you can't tell, Ernie B, if you're out there, love you, buddy. But yeah, no, it's having him being able to live mix is a godsend, because like I said, it makes everything just sound that much better. Sound like you're actually there, sort of. Especially, when I was a few weeks ago, I was over at a friend's house on my journey north, and they had a pretty nice like sort of home entertainment system, and so we put the stream on there and just blasted it. And it was like one of the first times I don't have a nice home entertainment center, so it was one of the first times that I got to hear it on someone's system, and it sounded really good. So if you need some good live music, we stream it on YouTube and we stream it on our Facebook page. And yeah, put that stuff on your home entertainment center. It sounds nice.
Yeah, I mean, quality of streaming over the internet is super important. And Ernie does a great job.
Yeah.
It's also great because yeah, the behind the scene folks is something that I'm a behind the scene person, and I want to highlight them and hear and get their stories out. But you are also supporting bands. You're giving the bands a place for them to play and continue to promote themselves.
Yeah, no, it's important because we're definitely a very grassroots community supported venue, and we wouldn't be anything without those people and those bands. And I'd say, I mean, while we do, I try to book bands that are known and touring bands. I try to get those bands when I can, but I'd say 75 to 80% of our shows are all mostly like local Texas and Austin artists, or some of those artists might have some friends coming through town and we'll put them on a bill. But yeah, I mean, we're very local, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I'd much rather work for a place like this than work for Live Nation or something that's like super corporate. Like it's important to me to be able to let people in your community come out and have a good time, and also to support artists and art that comes from your community, and essentially people that make your community and your city what it is and why you like it. And so it's very important for me to do that. And I wish we could do more. I will say we are one of the a lot of places that are doing live streams are charging to have you record their live stream, and we don't charge bands. We've been eating the cost so that bands can go out there. And like I said, it pays Ernie, and I want to be able to, if a band wants to play or if a band wants to do a live stream, I want to be able to help with that. I wish we could do more. I wish there was a way to do more, but it's sort of a thing where the bands help us out. If people want to donate, they can donate. If they don't have money to donate, I get it. Like I said, they get to see live music for free. I'm cool with that. And the owner, Thomas Goring, he's one of the best bosses I've ever worked for, and he's, that's his philosophy as well. And he's, the first, I mean, we still do it right now, but when COVID happened, the owner, Thomas, he told anybody that was affected by COVID that needed something to eat to come in, say that, COVID affected you to where you don't have anything, you don't have a job, or you're financially strained, no questions asked, breakfast or lunch on him. And still to this day, he, if someone were to come in and ask that, he'll still do it. But for the first like 3 or 4 months, he was pretty harping on that. He was like, come and get something to eat. Like, so, and that's, to me, that's important. I mean, like I said, we are somewhat bleeding money at this point, but at the same time, there's people that are still supporting us. We're still supporting people. And hopefully, I mean, I've heard that South by is going to be virtual next year. I've heard that they're canceling it again. They haven't made it official, but I've heard that. And that tells me that live music probably is not going to be coming back till after March. So we'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully, we can get some smaller shows going, but depending on how long all this lasts and whatnot, who knows? But I really, since all this has started, I mean, I feel like we've done our best to, try to still include bands and at the same time, take care of people. And yeah, that's really all you can do, because the future is unknown. And yeah, it's just one day at a time. I've pretty much, most of the plans I've made this year, over 60 some shows I've booked, all to the wind. So I've learned that making long-term plans at this point is not a good idea unless you just want to be really stressed out.
I feel you there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I'm like,
Yeah, I know
people
you.
ask me, yeah, what are you doing in like a month? And I'm like, I'm just taking it 1 week at a time, okay? Like
And
one day.
and you're a
And
lot like me too, because you travel a lot and you do a lot of other things outside of just being in Austin. So
mhm,
I know you and me feel the same pain.
yeah. Yeah, eh, I I don't think live events are gonna come back to where they were until 2022. I just don't think people are gonna be comfortable going out.
I agree.
Um,
I
just
agree.
maintaining constant like safety and distancing. It's
Yeah. And it's
yeah.
really hard for us because, right now our occupancy is around 280 people originally. Right now, with 50%, obviously that's 140. But our space. Like, us having that many people in there is almost impossible to do the social distancing. And then, our shows, our crowds, they get into the music. They sometimes we get a little rowdy. And I just know as much as I like wish in my head, I know that it's a bad idea. And I mean, for the virtual shows we're doing right now, like, our cap is, for me, it's all bands and Ernie, and then the one person that's, there just to close up at the end of the night. I mean, I trying to keep it 30, 35 at the most, for the most part. And that, we can do that. But then if we're going to have an actual live show with that many people, it's rough because, how are you going to pay the band? How are you going to pay all your staff? And then with this COVID stuff, you almost need to have more staff. You technically need to sort of have someone like out on the floor, or just sort of walking around and making sure people are having their masks. And then it sort of devolves into this weird like hall monitor thing. And I just, every time I think about it and I want to do it, I just hit one of those mental roadblocks, and I'm like, oh, that would be a nightmare. I don't want to do that. I don't want to like have people that come to our place regularly be hassled. Like it's just sucks all around, honestly. But as much as, like you said, I don't think, I think maybe by next summer we might be able to start like slowly doing some like smaller shows. But yeah, like you were saying, I don't see until like the end of next year, if not longer. And it all depends on, how bad the winter is, because supposedly I know all the like numbers are starting to go up again, and people are starting to open things again. I mean, for me, as it feels like how I felt in May, when, you know everything was closed down for a month and a half, and they're like, all right, let's open everything back up. And then it was like the two worst months we had in Austin. And I feel like everything sort of, we're just repeating May again. Like I feel like, the next 2 months, or unless people just chill out, is going to be crazy. But, just looking online, you see these venues like doing Halloween shows, and that's the thing. Like I was saying, going back to like our occupancy, like if we don't have enough people on, enough people that can come to the show, we are in the hole. And if you have too many people come to the show, it's not safe. So it's very hard. I haven't found that middle point yet. And honestly, like I said, until there's probably like a few different vaccines out, I'm probably not going to feel comfortable doing that, because friends of mine, regulars of mine, people that I deeply care about are going to be coming to those shows. And I would feel horrible, causing like a big outbreak or something like that. Like I don't even want to go there, It's not worth it to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's new territories. So nobody knows like where's the baseline? Where's that, that middle ground of where it's safe and
Yeah.
worthwhile.
And they have, this one size fits all rules, because the people that are running this in Texas are lazy, and they haven't really put a lot of thought into much of anything as far as the COVID stuff goes. Shout out to Greg Abbott and Dan Patrick, y'all suck. But but yeah, pretty much yeah, it's, like for us, they say you can open your bar, half occupancy, social distancing, masks, but those one size fits all rules don't work for a place like us. Like for us to have a good night, I need to have like 60 to 200 people in that place, throwing down, having a good time, having drinks, and I really can't do that right now, and I don't feel safe doing that. So it's, yeah, like you said, finding that middle. It's I have not solved that riddle yet in the 5 or 6 months I've been thinking about it. But yeah, yeah, it's rough.
So what are you doing to thrive and to take care of yourself? I mean, it's amazing all the
Well,
support that you're giving to the community, but what support are you giving to Dan?
so I right now I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I am going to be in Michigan. I'm going to be in the UP in Michigan starting tomorrow. And my cousin, he lives up there, and he has a bunch of property and whatnot. So as of right now, my cousin offered to sort of give me like a forest detox and live with him and work in the snow around his property. And he's gonna, give me a place to stay and sort of help me out a little bit so I can make it a few more months. I mean, for me, it's really been because I don't want to get another job. I don't want to get into another field. And, that's most of what I have been getting from people. They're like, oh, just, pull yourself up by the bootstraps and just, get out there and get a job. And my thing, when I first started working at Kickbutt, was the beginning of 2012. And this would have been technically my ninth year working there. And when I first started working there, we hadn't even expanded to the second stage. So, I've put a lot of life and I've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and I've sacrificed a lot to keep this place going. And no matter where I've lived, I grew up around punk and metal bands. I've roadied for them. I went on tour with them. I've done merch guy stuff. Like that's the scenes I came from, and it'll always be a part of me. And I moved to Austin with my friends that were in this death metal band, and we were, that's the main reason I came out here, was because they wanted someone to manage their band and go on tour with them. And this band that had been together for 10 years broke up 6 months after I moved out here. So that sort of left a big hole in what I wanted to do. And so I just sort of had to navigate my way around Austin. And I got this opportunity. And at first, it was like a coffee shop. And then the owner's a kung fu master. So it was this like kung fu coffee shop. And at first I was like, I don't know, man. But then, I've watched friends, metal and punk bands playing storage sheds, playing U-Hauls and parking lots. And I mean, that's sort of the whole aesthetic of punk and metal, is like, no one wants us and we don't give a fuck. We're going to play wherever we want and we're going to do it. And, I know metal got a little more glitzy and glammy to certain aspects. And I know the DIY aspect is definitely a little more like punk rock. But that's sort of what I approached Kick Butt as. I was just like, all right, it's a small space, it's a weird space, perfect. Let's do something with it. And we got bigger. The last 2 years were our best years as far as like financially. And me and Mike, since me and Mike Flannery have been part of this for, as far as booking goes, for a good like maybe I want to say 5 to 7 years, somewhere in there, me and Mike have been working together. And like I said, it's something I've built up, and I don't want to walk away from it. But at the same time, I've sort of just been trying to save my money, the very meager amount that I've been getting as far as unemployment goes. I've been trying to save that just so I can keep my schedule open, so I can hopefully go back to my job. That's sort of been like my main goal, because I'm pretty good at living by my means. I don't have any kids, I don't have any pets, I don't have like a significant other. So I just got to take care of myself, which I'm good at doing. A natural loner. Have sort of, Texas is the fifth state I've lived in, and I've moved around just sort of doing what makes sense for me. But yeah, I really just work inside jobs. I mean, I've helped friends move, I've helped friends tackle their yards, I've helped friends like set up some computer stuff. I There's nothing I'm really like a master in, but I am a jack of many trades. So I've been able to sort of spread things around. And I've also had customers and people that have helped me out. I have a lot of people I didn't even ask for it, and they just helped me out. And I really appreciate that too. I mean, it's been a weird year. This is probably like the most broke I've been since I've been in college. And I just turned 35. So so it's been a weird trip, but I'm pride myself on being resourceful. And thankfully I've been able to make it work this far. And coming up here with my cousin, I'm going to be working with him on his house for like a month or two. So that'll be a nice little chunk of change, and I'm hoping that will keep me going. We'll just pay the bills until Kick Butt starts opening back up again. As far as the live shows we've been doing, I'm unemployed right now, so I don't get paid for anything I book right now, which I'm totally fine with that. I told the owner, I keep booking as long as it helps us. And I don't mind doing that to help the cause pretty much. So yeah, that's where I am at right now, and I'll be in the UP. It's the coldest weather I've ever experienced, like from what I hear. Even though I was born in Milwaukee, but yeah, I at this point it's just like make ends meet, and yeah, keep the venue afloat however I can, and also help take care of my friends that are in bands and sort of keep them out there and give them like a little live stream if they want to save it or stream it on their page, do whatever they want with it. So yeah, that is pretty much I guess that.
Yes, I first of all, I was going to ask if you are in Milwaukee because I could see your high life photos behind you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, he's got all kinds of cool little things. Here, I'll show you something real cool. Give me a sec. He's got this. It is a high life choo-choo train.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I cannot wait to crack open the champagne of beers after this.
Yeah, I guess actually it's like a high life big rig, but
That
made
is impressive.
out of all high life cans.
Oh, nice.
But yeah.
You also touched on what a lot of people that I know are feeling is they don't want to do a different job. They don't want to, you know,
Yeah.
go change their careers because we love what we do. We love doing events. We love being like behind the scenes or involved in whatever way. And yeah, if people stay in, limit their interactions with everybody, hopefully by summer next year, we will be headbanging at
Oh,
Kick Butt and being like,
I hope so.
yes,
I'll be there with you. I'll take the night off.
yes.
Yeah, man. I definitely I was lucky because before all this happened, like I went to San Francisco and LA to see some friends, and I went and saw that Mr. Bungle reunion show. And I saw one of them in San Francisco, and this thrash band called Possessed opened up for him, and yeah, it was an amazing show. That was like the only show I really got to enjoy this year. I was supposed to go on tour with some friends and help them like do merch and help them run stuff, and then we were gonna end up at Punk Rock Bowling, and they had some gigs booked there from Parts Unknown from Dallas. Some of my good homies, definitely should check them out if you like punk rock. But yeah, I was supposed to roll with them, and then the one that hurts my heart so much that I didn't even want a refund for it because they booked like 90% of the same acts for next year is that Psycho Vegas the huge metal festival there. Like it's gonna get to see Emperor for the first time, and it's gonna get to see it was the only their Merciful Fate is doing they're about to put out a new record, and it was the only US date that they had this year. And yeah, there were so many good bands on that show, but almost all those bands are rescheduled for next August. So I am really like I'm not a religious person at all, but I am like hoping that some cosmic force like wills that show into existence next year because I will need it.
Yes.
It's crazy. I mean, when it all first started, because obviously you and me, we both lived through SARS and the swine flu and the bird flu, and you just thought it was gonna be something like that, where it was just gonna sort of go away, as our dear leader would say. And it's but science unfortunately has been like, no, it's not like that. And then there's been so much disinformation I feel out there on almost both sides of the argument that you have people right now that are just confused, and people that just have completely skewed ideas of how it's definitely one of the weirdest things I've ever lived through in my life, like just sitting there and going through all that information and the different takes on everything and stuff like that. And in the end, no one really knows. I mean, even the scientists, as much as they can predict things, they can't predict people's actions. And so, it's a big question mark. And I mean, most of life is that to a certain degree, but this is sort of like thrown any kind of like normalcy out the window. And it's just made me sort of realize that when you feel like things are going back to normal, that's when you got to be most vigilant. And a lot of people aren't doing that. But yeah, we need to do that to get over this and get live music back. And people just need to be smart and have some compassion for each other, which not everybody's bad at it, but there's a lot of people that was just somewhat disappointing. It's just like, dude, if we all, having like a throwing temper tantrums like children isn't what's going to get us through this.
Mhm. Yeah.
Having a clear head and just working together and caring for one another. That's the key. And if that doesn't
Mhm.
happen, then we're gonna keep sort of going in circles of shut down, open back up, shut down, open back up. And that
Yeah,
and the
right.
vaccine. And the vaccine. I think the vaccine, because most when you have some kind of virus outbreak, it normally just affects like a country or another country. This is worldwide. So I feel like there's more people working on a vaccine for this than almost any other disease we've had. So I'm definitely, optimistic that we'll have a few vaccines out next year. But yeah, I think that's going to be the real, the vaccine isn't going to fix everything, but it's going to at least make people feel more comfortable, and it will help, probably 75 to 80% of the people at least, if not more. But I think without a vaccine, good luck. It's going to be rough.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, um, make sure to follow Kickbutt on Facebook.
Yeah, you can follow us on Facebook, Kick Butt Coffee. You can follow us on our YouTube page, again, Kick Butt Coffee. Those are the two places that we're going to stream most of the live bands. We're going to also be we might start streaming on Twitch too. We have the ability to do it. We just don't have a Twitch profile, so I don't know how. I don't know if that would be a waste of time or if there would actually be people that are on there. But we are talking about doing our first virtual burlesque show, and I think we'll be using Twitch for that because it'll be more of like a pay-per-view thing. Any of our shows on our Facebook page or YouTube are free to watch. And then also kickbuttcoffee.com is our website. You can buy shirts off there, you can buy masks off there. We do sell like pound bags of coffee that off there, and it has all of our menus on there. So if you live in the Austin area, we do Grubhub, and we do some of those other like food delivery services and drink delivery services. So if you wanted to not go into our store, you could do that. But we are open during the day, normally like 5 or 6 in the morning to like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And we do food to go, we do coffee to go, and because of all this stuff, we're allowed to do drinks to go. So, we can sell you mixed drinks to go, we can sell you 6 packs, cases of beer to go, whatever we got there, we can sell you it to go right now. So yeah,
Nice.
any of those things would help us greatly.
Yeah, next time you guys do a live show, pick up some drinks from Kickbutt, plug your computer into your TV and put the volume up all the way.
Yeah, hell yeah, yeah, and listen to the sweet sounds curated by the one and only Ernie B.
Yes. Well, Dan, thanks again for your time. And I'll make sure to include links to all the sites that he just said.
Yeah, great talking to you, Steph. Thanks for interviewing me,
Yeah.
and I look forward to this and more interviews.